Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. I hope you're having an amazing day. We're going to take another look here at CRV. This is a request from one of my community members. Thank you, George, for requesting that I cover this. And big picture, this is definitely a coin that has a lot of potential. It's doing very well considering the overall sentiment, and the previous trend line moving down that it had broken free from is a really positive sign because it's making higher lows on the daily. Very, very good stuff there. So we'll take a look at that and much more. If you're new to the channel, not a financial advisor, I love teaching people how to trade. I really hope you can learn something here today. And if you do learn something, of course, let me know. But more importantly, if you want to become a better trader and kind of, get back on track essentially for, helping understand how to properly, successfully navigate this market, feel free to join. I actually have a trading community, trading academy, and signal group. In fact, one of my community members requested that I cover this, so thanks again, George, for that. So, last thing, CryptoCache.tech is the website, link in the description below. All right, enough about that. Let's go ahead and take a look at CRV. And what we're looking at here, of course, is a couple of things. First of all, we're up over the 50-day SMA. Not a lot of coins can say that right now. It's a very positive sign. We have a tremendous amount of volume here today and yesterday as well. Both good things also. So as long as this volume can continue, the price will likely to continue to ascend. We've got a resistance at about 350. We don't need to worry about that for a while with the 200-day SMA. We broke through 50 quite handily yesterday on the RSI. That's extremely important. It tells us we're above that key level resistance. And if you can see here, that key level resistance was right around $2.43. Anytime you see 50 on the RSI get broken, you can commonly correlate that to a Fibonacci retracement level, which coincidentally was a high here and a high here where it couldn't break past that point. Now it has, and it's taking off and it's doing very well. It's a very good sign. We've got a MACD convergence on the 1 day. There's really nothing adverse here on daily that's telling us that we should expect it to slow down. It should continue its momentous trend. Keep this in mind, these are very strong increases in a very short amount of times. I don't love to see this. I prefer a healthier pattern. I'm not saying this is completely unhealthy, but on the 4 hour, it doesn't look like, it looks like we're getting a couple of strong pumps, but just what happens when those pumps discontinue? Well, the price will discontinue as well as we see lower volume. So we just got to pay attention to that. Always identify the amount of volume that's going into these increases. If they are supported by high volume, it's all well and good. As you can see here, this amount of volume in the last, just say 12 to 24 hours was still much higher than anything previous. So I'd still rather take this data than this data any day regarding the continuation here. Another thing you can see is that the price hit a resistance at about $2.55 and essentially could not pass that for a full 12 to 24 hours. That is what, 16 hours, right in that range? And then, of course, blast straight through. That's an obvious thing that's happened so much in trading. It's crazy, but what it is testing a key level resistance, constantly trying to get past that, where the bears are saying, no, we don't want to buy, we don't want to let the price go higher, we're going to keep selling. Well, they eventually get exhausted and there's more bulls than bears, and they inevitably push the price action higher and or squeeze out some of the shorts. Okay, so a lot of little things can happen, but that's the main reason why we're probably seeing that, is that push to the resistance. Bears didn't want it to happen. It inevitably did because the bulls kept pushing. Okay. Again, just some things to kind of think about. It's constantly a battle between bulls and bears. And you got to keep in mind, there's no, like, industry leaders, they're switching between bullish and bearish at all times. So, a good trader will do that, and try not to attach yourself to a specific direction, if that makes any sense. Anyways, take a look at some other things here. We're above both moving averages. You can also see the price came down to balance out the 200, which is fantastic. We are over 70 on the RSI. I don't love this. I would like to see the price retrace back down, perhaps to 267 and consolidate. And let's go ahead and take a look as well at this continuation, if it's overextended or not. We're at a 7, potentially have about 8 more hours worth of continuation. In other words, the likelihood of it continuing past a 9 on the 4 hour is fairly low. It doesn't happen too often. And I would expect the price to kind of calm down here soon. And what I mean by calm down is one of two things. It'll come down and consolidate here at 267 and or 255. 255 seems more likely considering that was a previous resistance. Establishing itself as a new support would make sense. But it doesn't always happen that way. That being said, taking a look at the 1 hour, we are overextended now, well, at least potentially. We hit a 9 on TD sequential, and of course, we hit a 9 previously here. So just kind of note, came down to a 9, consolidated sideways, ramped up to a 4 down to a 4 up to a 4. That was a pretty volatile little time frame there. And then of course another push here as well. So just keep in mind, again, this is not a super healthy continuation. Most continuation patterns you want to see are going to be looking like this. This one kind of just jumps up all over the place. All right. So again, tremendous amount of volume here in the last 24 hours. Fantastic. If that can continue the next 24 hours, price will maintain itself. If we see a diminished amount of volume, I would say pay attention to the volume specifically, and we'll know pretty handily if it's going to stick around or not. Speaking of which, why don't we go ahead and take a look at this year's worth of volume and just kind of get perspective so far and see where we're at. So we are traveling into a high volume range, so we could see some resistance at about 282. And that could just imply that we may see somewhat of a channel sideways between 255 and 280. So just as a round number, 255 to 280, we're looking at a potential channel sideways before it breaks through 282 and 305. If and when it breaks 305, though, we'll be in tentative price discovery, at least for the last couple of months, and that would be very positive to be able to help us get back higher. We just need to worry about the key level resistance at about 318 and 358 as a rough estimate. Okay, so again, mostly good stuff here for CRV. There's literally very little that's adverse. It's just not the healthiest continuation pattern, so we could experience somewhat of a retracement here soon, but oftentimes things do come in threes, so pay attention to that as well. A third green day would make sense for CRV, especially considering we have a lot more market dominance coming away from Bitcoin and going into coins that are altcoins just like these ones here. So the likelihood of a continuation to the upside is high. It's just that we may experience a pullback here the next 8 to 12 hours to consolidate for 24 and then leg up again. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see a burst tomorrow afternoon and maybe a tapering effect here today to allow for the price to kind of consolidate and get some healthiness back into it, if you will. Because we have, once again, two very strong 1 hour candles, and that's not the best barometer for success in the overall sense of progressing upwards as long as the volume maintains itself. If the volume stays, just say we keep this kind of volume roughly, at least nothing less than this, we're going to be in pretty good shape to see the price continue higher. I'm really, at this point, CRV is looking like a very strong swing trade, and I would recommend maybe dollar cost averaging into this because I do think it could potentially hit its $6 to $7 mark again. But we're going to need to see some consistency from Bitcoin first. But this is a very strong start. All right, well, I hope that you found benefit and this made sense how I described everything. If you want to become a better trader, once again, CryptoCache.tech is a site, link in the description below. I do look forward to working with you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for your time. See you soon.